the original Tom Clancy Splinter Cell. This is actually the first Splinter Cell game. Haven't played it yet, but I need to get to it. Like I said, with enough practice about, you know, making or getting through stealth games, I will eventually beat this. I know there's another Splinter Cell game on the Gamecube. I need to get that still. The Xbox version, actually, funny enough, was one of the only games, I think it was the only game, that was the way to hack your original Xbox if you had a copy of that this specific game on Xbox. Look it up if you don't believe me. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, probably the best 3D Zelda game. And this is the 2-game bonus disc with the Master Quest, which is essentially the entire game harder, and it's flipped. So, like, all the levels are essentially flipped from before, so I don't know, it was kind of weird how they did it. But yeah, it's Ocarina of Time on GameCube. They didn't really change the graphics that much. They really just ported the graphics from the N64 version onto this, and this is of course a not for resale copy. I think all games, most of the Zeldas were not for resale. I think you had to pre-order some of the games to get some of these. But also has sneak peeks of some of these other games. I have, let's see, I have 3 of these games. I don't have all of them though. If you're a Zelda fan, I know this is already on the collection. But if you also want the Master Quest, this is only exclusive to this version. And don't ask me what version plays better, I haven't checked. That was for people who didn't want to shell like $30-40 for an N64 copy. I think it's a good alternative if you want to play it on the GameCube. Animal Crossing. Basically, you want a kid-friendly version of The Sims. I think it actually was on the same engine. Or maybe not, I don't know. But if you want a kid-friendly version of The Sims with animals and get to make your own house, look no further than Animal Crossing. It says memory card 59 included, but my copy didn't come with the memory card or the manual, but I need to get a copy of that. Or I need to get that eventually. But I do have it. And I don't have some of the other Animal Crossing games. I need to get those as well. Pac Man Fever. When people were trying to copy Mario Party, this was one of the many that followed. This is basically Mario Party with Pac Man characters. In fact, some of the Mario Party style levels are almost like plagiarized in this in some ways, but it's got its own Pac-Man feel to them. I think this actually came out around the same time Pac-Man World 2 came out, so they were definitely on a Pac-Man roll when this game came out, that's for sure. There's the disc. I don't have Pac-Man vs. VS. I need to get that. Down the line. Probably my favorite game ever made by Rare. Starfox Adventures. And actually, this is, I would say, my favorite Starfox game of all time. Some people might find that a little ridiculous, but it's true. It's just my opinion. And yes, this is another game by one of my favorite YouTubers, Dare Werewolf 93, did a gameplay of, and it's a lot of fun. I just wish that they were working on Conquer Live and Uncut, you know, while they were working on this, and actually put out Conquer Live and Uncut. Because could you imagine Conquer on the GameCube? But yeah. There's the manual. And there's the disc. Very fun game. You gotta love her too. Pretty hot. It's my opinion, alright? Custom Robo, a game that actually shot up quite a bit in price. I was actually really surprised. It's okay. You get to make your own robots, and you have to customize your own robots and go against other robots fighting. Join the Robo Revolution, yeah. It's very good. Or I should say it's pretty good. It's not amazing by any stretch of the imagination, but, you know, it's alright. And there's the disc. Of course, the Nintendo Power ad. I will admit, though, Nintendo, whenever they put an advertisement for their games, they really went all out in having specific advertisements for the games you buy for Nintendo Power. That's a pretty cool attention to detail, I will say. For people to buy your magazine, yeah. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It's alright. It's very, 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 very alright. And this is coming from someone who thinks the movie is just... Nothing can beat Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Why could they have made a game based on Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory instead of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Come on, they could have gotten Gene Wilder to come back instead of this. I don't know. It exists, and I'll say that. It's kind of cringy, I'm not gonna lie. But if you do like the movie, and I know this movie for whatever reason has an audience, you might like it more than I did, because it's also on the PS2 and Xbox and the PC, which is similar to this one, which I also have, because I was a weird kid. Alright, let's forget I talked about that game. True Crime New York City. Basically, if you ever want to know what Grand Theft Auto was like on the GameCube, this is pretty much it, even though it's very similar. Very good open world kind of game, even if it is a tad bit unfinished. I know they did rush this game. In fact, the original Xbox version, from what I've been told, is actually unplayable because it's even unbeatable at one part. But yeah, I had a friend who played this game on his YouTube channel. His name is Forever Retro 82. He did a pretty good game play of this. The driving missions, though, suck, I'll admit. But other than that, very fun game. And it's a real shame we never got True Crime 3. I did have slight issues when playing this, though. Since it was unfinished, like sometimes you couldn't go inside. And I'm not the only person who had these issues either. So, I also want to mention this too. When you got copies of this game, it actually came with this little slip inside. Since there were like some issues with the NYPD having their name in their game or something. So it's basically like, this game is not approved or connected in any way to the New York City Police Department. This game is fictional and does not represent the views, policies, and practices of the NYPD. So they had to have that in there because Apparently, there's advertising for gun. But yeah, they didn't want their police being represented in this game, which is like a game where you could play a bad cop depending on what you want, so it was kind of a minor issue with that. But yeah, very fun game. Pick it up. Definitely pick it up. There's a part where you can fight some, like, have to rescue this goth chick, too, which is pretty cool. One of the easiest games I've ever played in my life. A series of unfortunate events. Based on, of course, the book, which was then based on the movie, which this game was based on. There's Jim Carrey. I actually just watched the movie not that long ago. It holds up very well. And it's a real shame they never made a sequel to this game. Or the movie. A very underrated Nickelodeon movie. But yeah, there's the disc. And there's the manual. Definitely pick it up. The Simpsons Road Rage. Basically Trick Crazy Taxi with Simpsons characters. It's the best way I could describe it. Move your Heister Meister. Yeah, it's very similar to Crazy Taxi. In fact, they actually got sued from the Crazy Taxi developers because it had the little arrow with the Simpson hand. But it's very good. The only problem I don't like with this game is that the load times are pretty sucky. And even for a Gamecube game. So you can get this game for like $30-40. I think the PS2 version is actually cheaper though. I just happen to have the Gamecube version. Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. Great platformer. Very underrated. I wish more people knew about it. And if you're wondering what I think of the new Prince of Persia, it was not made by the original developers of this game, so therefore I don't consider that a true Prince of Persia sequel. End of story. But yeah, this is the first Prince of Persia. They made a couple sequels after this. One of them, which I have, which I'll show in another video. I'll show these two. Viewtiful Joe. Very fun game. It's got kind of a gimmick though. It's got cool cel-shaded graphics. Although it has a really weird gimmick that I kind of wish they didn't do. Other than that, it's fun. There's the manual and there's the disc. And the last one I'll show for this part is Viewtiful Joe 2, which is more or less the same as the first one. I don't have Viewtiful Joe 3, but I need to get that. That one's actually not easy to find. I haven't really seen it anywhere in the wild. I've seen these two in the wild, but not the third one, which is really weird. But yeah, it's more or less the same one as Viewtiful Joe 1. And that is my... Oh wait, does the... Oh, another thing I want to mention is that notice it says only for GameCube. They actually later put this out on PS2. So that's that part of the GameCube game collection. I know we got a lot more to go, and we will eventually get done. And I promise you, I'm having a lot of fun revisiting these. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next part whenever that is. Bye.